Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome to the TNT Podcast episode. What the fuck is it? 11, I think? 12? Okay.
12.
Who
See, I
keeps...
wasn't even here last week.
Or
and yet I know.
Episode 12, also known as the 13th one.
No, this meme needs to stop.
Freeman's not here to continue to keep the meme alive as the meme lord, so I have to do it in his absence. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. We have an interesting week for you because we traded one special guest and missing host for another. Last week, Tyler was out and Luigi took his place. This week's Freeman's out because he's working 12 hours at work. And we have replaced him with our good friend Leslie, who we've referenced on the podcast all the time.
Hello.
Leslie also has numerous pets in her room, so don't be surprised if you hear loud bird noises at some point in the podcast.
So sorry.
I can't. It's too hard. No, we actually. If anyone's listened to this for a while, they probably honestly know because they've heard us make fun of the Danny's noises.
You made fun of my bird on your podcast?
The truth comes out. I don't even remember. I honestly don't remember.
I don't know. I'm sure.
I've mentioned that Leslie has animals.
Look, I'm sure some mention happened, and now it's confirmed, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there we go. It's fine.
Anyway, we're going to jump right into the news because we got a lot of tiny stories today, and unfortunately, Leslie doesn't know much about any of them because Leslie does not keep up on nerd bullshit like me, Freeman, and Louis, and Tyler do.
I'm not a nerd.
So we have to get through a bunch of news stories real quick. So Tyler, why don't you take us, because these first 4 stories are all yours.
Oh yeah, man. So EA. And this is what I read, but EA Bioware, right? Mm-hmm. They're merging their Montreal studio with Motive Studios.
Oh, so you put the tagline in the show notes. EA merges Bioware with Motive Studios. I was like, Jesus, yeah. All of Bioware is gone.
No, EA is merging their that's what I meant. Their Bioware studio with Motive Studios, and it's
their Bioware studio. There's a bunch of Bioware studios around the country.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Specifically Montreal.
Okay, that's a lot less massive scale. I was like,
specifically
Bioware's dying.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is in response to there's such low numbers with Andromeda. They're trying to get on extra help, and they put it on hiatus.
Get them on life support.
Anyone who's listening, yeah. So now they're just trying to get extra help.
Yeah.
Which, man, that game is gonna need a lot of help.
Or they're rushing production on another project.
They could be. I can totally see them working on TLC.
I don't. But if they're saying we put the game on hiatus, the response isn't say that, then do something as public as merging studios. This is what was that new? I forget already. The new game that Bioware showed off at E3 got a lot of hype behind it already because it's Destiny different. So in my mind, this is we need to fucking ramp up this thing and get it done quick because people are really souring on Bioware right now.
Yeah. Oh man, that game you were just talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Oh my gosh.
Hyperion or something?
No, because then Gearbox would have sued him.
That's true.
No, but that game's director just passed away though.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
That's no good.
Oh, Anthem.
Anthem. That's what stupid generic name it was. Right.
Yeah. Anthem.
Right. I love those generic names. Not something cool like Mass Effect or Dragon Age.
Damn.
Or Destiny. Hell.
Hey,
I don't fucking care. Come up with a name. Come on.
I feel bad though. I feel bad right now. Their games director passed away.
Yeah, that does suck. I'm not. Yeah, clearly I'm hating on them when they're down.
Yeah, you are, dude. Don't be rude.
All right.
See, Leslie's first impression of you is an ass.
What are you talking about?
See.
Well, also Leslie's heard podcast episodes before. Oh, there's Danny popping off.
Yeah, see, that's Danny, everybody.
Yeah,
Next one is
you guys get a fraction of our lives.
Of your lives.
I mean, it's a smaller.
This is my life.
No, I know, but listen, it's a fraction for everybody, but you just have a lot more, so it's a tinier fraction of your life.
This is my life.
He's talking about the listeners.
I'm talking about the listener, Leslie.
The listeners don't know anything about us.
For the listener, this is a fraction, but it's just a smaller fraction of your life than mine and Tyler's lives.
They've listened to us longer.
Yeah. Well, also, they haven't... I mean more like they haven't heard Danny as much as the three of us. Yeah, see?
Stop
She's chiming in.
encouraging her.
All right. Tyler,
Yeah,
go on to
she's
the
like,
next
stop
news story.
talking shit.
She's
Yeah,
like, stop talking about Bioware. I don't want to talk about a dead guy and make fun of his game. Let's go on to the next story.
Damn, Miami Vice is getting a reboot, and I'm bringing this up because I love Miami Vice. I love it a lot.
Okay,
And
honest question. That's a movie, right? Or is that a TV show?
No, it was a TV show. It was a
Okay.
TV show in the 80s.
Genuinely don't know. I've heard
With,
the name before, but...
Yeah, it had Don Johnson in it.
Okay.
And
Man,
that
this
other
is
guy,
great.
I keep forgetting his name, and he doesn't have work these days.
Okay.
But
He
it was
doesn't have
people-
work these days. That's a good
It's
tagline for
unfortunate.
somebody.
Yeah, but they what's it called? They remade it with a movie with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell, but that
Okay.
movie didn't do too well.
That's
But the highlight of this though is that Vin Diesel is producing this.
See, there's levels of producing. Leslie, we're just ignoring it, so that's all. I mean...
Yeah.
what-
That's a new one though. I don't know if I've heard that one before. But yeah, Vin Diesel's producing this. So I'm just like, Jesus. But NBC still is producing it though. Like it's still gonna be on NBC,
Oh my
which
god.
produced the original show. So that's that.
How is one animal cognizant enough to know when to make alien noises it's never made before?
I don't know. All I gotta
How
say
is it
is
possible?
that
Is she, karming me right now? Like,
I know the
jeez.
listeners don't really give a shit about Miami Vice, so that's fine. But we are gonna go to Overwatch. I'm the
Oh,
only
gotta
person who still cares about Miami Vice, just like
Give me my
How I'm only-
literally 30 seconds of Miami Vice news, Tim. Goddamn.
yeah. But like also, I'm the only person in the world who still watches Supernatural. I'm positive.
Oh,
You are not
probably.
wrong.
You're keeping them alive, dude.
Me and Tumblr are keeping Supernatural alive right now. Overwatch, nothing really new. Still haven't seen much for Doomfist. I can't recall if Freeman touched on him last week or not.
I mean, he said he got released. He talked about it a little.
Yeah, he got released, but he didn't get put into competitive yet. I think they're gonna save him until next season, so we're not gonna really see how really well I think he's gonna do in the meta. But so far, like I hear decent things about him. And next week, the week of the 7th, I think on the 8th is gonna be that Summer Games.
Oh, right, yeah.
That-
You and Freeman have talked about it
yes.
before.
So I'm looking forward to that. So that's gonna be cool. Keep moving on. Sony. This is some big news right here.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
This came out of nowhere for me. And
If
this just
Freeman
came
was
up-
here, this would have been half the Weeb Corner this week.
Oh, easy. Because I guarantee he has a lot more insight, and I'm actually hoping that he covers this more a lot.
Probably will.
Like next week.
Because I'm sure more
Yeah.
details will come out, and then we can talk about it again.
Yeah. But Sony is acquiring Funimation.
Which is wild.
That's some crazy shit. I don't know why, but they just said I guess they announced it that they were thinking about it earlier this year supposedly, but then I guess they
Yeah, I remember
recently
Freeman
bought
mentioning it at one time.
95% of the company. Yeah, but they're keeping all the main staff though.
Well, that's
most
good.
of the staff for Funimation, I guess are still gonna be there. So I'm hoping that a lot of the creative influences are still there. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Like I said, this is something Freeman would be able to reflect a lot more on.
I mean, could this be to help? Sony's movie production isn't. Don't they not earn great money?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay,
What was the
I
last
don't know.
time? What was the last Sony movie that they produced?
I don't remember, but I feel like the last news I heard about Sony's movie studio was they are not doing amazingly well, but I could be totally full of shit, so.
Well, I guess they had to help produce Spider-Man. I thought they lost the rights to Spider-Man, but they didn't.
No, they're sharing rights with Marvel.
Mm.
That's why
Good-
there was a Sony
good
logo
plan.
with the Marvel logo at the beginning of Spider-Man.
Right.
So I remember
Yeah,
looking for it.
Yeah, I was under the impression that
No, I
wasn't-
remember back when I was going to school in Utah even, when they first announced that this movie was entering the lineup, they were like, Marvel and Sony finally came to a deal, probably because Amazing Spider-Man 2 tanked again. And they're like, fuck, we have to wait 3 more years to do another reboot. And then Marvel was like, hey, here's a bunch of money. And we'll give you some credit on this movie if you let us have the rights and we get to work it into our universe. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. We're tired of failing by ourselves.
Right? Oh, God. You know what was it? They produced the Emoji Movie. That's why they fucked up.
Oh, my God. Is it out yet?
The Emoji Movie? Yeah, it's been out for like 2 weeks.
Has it really?
Yeah, dude.
I thought I saw a trailer recently, and I was like, oh, I guess that movie's coming out soon.
That movie is. Yo, but I guess I didn't know that they were producing Dark Tower, though.
Well,
Dark Tower.
I mean, I don't care about Stephen King or Dark Tower at all, but the trailer's cool, where Idris Elba's like doing gun kata moves.
Yeah, man.
He's like, Leslie, I'm gonna do sick flips and shit with guns.
See, that's something we could talk about, Leslie.
What?
We're gonna go see Dark Tower.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Baby Duck movie.
I'm a duck.
Ooh, the Emoji Movie, 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that
shit. Even got that many.
Yeah, actually, I want to see. Hold on.
No, but
you know, this movie made.
Exactly. You know what really sucks? Dunkirk. Hold on. Dunkirk with a 93% and looks amazing earned $26.7 million. Leslie. Emoji Movie earned $24.6 million.
Stop it.
$0.1 million less than Dunkirk.
That's so upsetting.
I bet the budget for Dunkirk was fucking off the chain. Let's see here.
Well, no. I mean, this isn't opening weekend, so we don't know. This is week 2 because it just says top box office.
Oh no, I see. No. Dunkirk made a lot more money. Dunkirk, at least according to the Wikipedia page, and I don't know where they pull those stats from, but it said in the box office so far it's made $240.6 million.
That's fine by me. Dunkirk looks sick.
As opposed to the Emoji Movie, that not only had a $50 million budget, but it has only earned a $31.5 million in the box office.
I don't know where Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, those numbers totally don't match. What the hell? I don't care. Who cares?
Like I said, their opening weekends were different.
Look, hopefully it earns no money and Dunkirk earns lots of money. So.
Yeah, keep these Christopher Nolan movies going.
All
right, what's
anyway,
what's
we're
next?
kind of drifting. Oh, this is mine. I can finally talk about. This is just a follow-up because I mentioned this either last week or 2 weeks ago about League. So, in League of Legends, the different leagues around the world, there's like 6 leagues or something. It's crazy at this point. A couple of them are moving to franchising for the next season. And importantly, China is and North America are, and Europe isn't. I think Korea isn't, but I can't say for sure. But Europe's been kind of declining a lot lately. Europe's view times, and they have this group system where it's like 2 groups of 5 teams, and there's only a crossover once a season, and the rest of the time it's just the same 5 teams playing each other every week. And they're always at bad times. They're like during the early afternoon, and then North America's on the weekends, and at like in the afternoon to late at night. So Europeans usually end up also watching North America's games. So those two, that combined with the franchising thing, not in Europe, but in North America, of course, basically is... so the franchising deadline for North American teams, it was a $5 million upfront, $10 million total application process for North American franchising. And currently there are 10 teams in North America. Over 100 organizations paid the $5 million to apply, and at least 4 European active teams supposedly submitted applications, as well as other European organizations and at least 1 Chinese organization. All applied to be in the North American LCS next year as a franchise team.
Fuck Korea. We going to Vegas.
Well, no, because North America is where all the money is right now. China's also really huge. You know what's a crazy stat on the League subreddit? Someone said the other day, 88% of players in League of Legends are in China.
I believe it.
An insane statistic. So I've heard it. I've seen it on the subreddit before. China is where Korean pros who are losing their spark go to earn a giant paycheck and then retire.
Wow.
They're like, fuck it, I'll go to China for a year, earn like $10 million, and then leave.
Which is I'm surprised because usually like the Korean LCSs, right, like did really well. Like at least like a lot of people went there.
I mean, Korea's top of the world as always.
Yeah. Also the fact that I love how Riot is an American company.
I mean, that's part of why a lot of people are like, oh, they hate the Europeans, because Europe has like all these. I mean, obviously with like the EU versus just one country, like, I mean, North America technically, but it's mostly America, and Canada's so easy. Or Korea or China versus EU, which is like all this other shit going on. But, I mean, China's the biggest, North America's home base, and Korea is the esports capital.
Right.
It can only focus on so many demographics.
They trash StarCraft, and they're like, "Yo, we going after that league."
I mean, yeah. I mean, Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch was like a flash in the pants, basically. Look at how fast Overwatch climbed up when it came out, and now it's back down to. If I go on Twitch right now, I bet it's not even in the top 3, maybe not even the top 5.
Nah, man, that PUBG. That PUBG's up there now.
That's definitely. Ah, God.
What?
I clicked onto Twitch. And I thought it was... Oh, wow. Dota's actually big right now. There must be a tournament. So Dota 2, PUBG, and League are the top 3. Hearthstone, IRL, GTA 5, Counter-Strike, then Overwatch. Overwatch is currently sitting at number 8 on Twitch. And then Alien Isolation. That's how low its numbers are.
Oh, probably because they have, like, someone who has a lot of viewers is probably playing.
Doing Alien, I'm sure. But considering... Dota 2's at 237,000, PUBG's at 120, and League's sitting at its steady 77. Then there's a 50,000 drop to Hearthstone, and then a 10,000 from there through the other games to Overwatch.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Those numbers are crazy.
And the biggest streamer on Twitch, a third of Twitch's viewers for Overwatch are one of TSM's players.
Oh.
Because he's streaming.
Yeah.
The next drop is only into the thousands. Anyway. I just thought it was really fascinating how there's so much interest in now that there's franchising. And in the meantime, I'm positive that every single team that is in the North American LCS right now, and probably most of the Challenger Series teams, all applied for the franchising. That's like 20 teams right there. And then you have like 80 at least other organizations who are like, no me, no me, no me. Like, how do you tell over 90 organizations that paid you $5 million, sorry, you don't get to be in the North American LCS ever? Ever because of franchising.
That's so much money, man.
It's crazy. It's insane.
That's so much money.
So crazy.
Oh my God. Anyway.
I wish I had that much money. Anyway, what's the next thing?
This is
Pokemon Go.
So there was a Pokemon Go event in Chicago like a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend just
Niantic trying.
My friend just messaged me totally unrelated and happened to mention that the International's going on right now. That's why Dota's so high.
Oh, gotcha.
I forgot that was this week. Anyway, yeah, so there was a Pokemon Go event and it fell apart. Apparently, all the servers got overloaded and there was bugs and everything happened. And now now Niantic is being sued with a class action lawsuit because some people flew in from Japan for this event.
Yeah, people came in all over the fucking place for this thing. And they also got to experience, like, these... Well, like, now you can... they added an update so you can catch legendary Pokemon.
Yep.
And you can work together with a lot of people to catch the legendary Pokemon. Like, if you guys remember... that first ever trailer with Mewtwo in Times Square.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be like.
Only took him over a year.
Man, yeah, only took him over a year, and you know what? It's still not enough to get me back in the game.
I mean, the game has declined a lot, but clearly there's still enough there that petty people are thinking they can get money out of Niantic.
Probably,
I don't know. It sucks for those people, but I mean, because I was actually listening to one of my podcasts yesterday, and this is how I remembered hearing about this. Where is the line between you, like, I don't think Niantic promised anything. You know what I mean? So I don't know exactly, but they didn't promise to give you something and then renege on it or something. They just were like, here, we're having an event, we're going to unveil stuff. And then when they fucked up, they're like, here, I think everyone gets like a legendary and $100 worth of in-game currency or some crazy thing.
Yeah, people got stuff. It's not like they were like, oh yeah, like we're gonna guarantee you a flawless Pokemon Go experience with no lag, or no server shutdown or anything like that. Like no.
Like I can understand if you flew from Japan, that's like thousands of dollars to come to this event. But on the other hand, isn't there some kind of there has to be a line somewhere between intent like they didn't I don't think they intentionally misled anyone. You can see, I saw a clip of a video because there's of course video out there of people being like yelling "fuck you" at the Niantic CEO when he's on stage and things aren't going well, and he's just up there trying to keep a straight face and being like, "Guys, we're really excited with what we're bringing you," and then people are like, "Fuck you, boo! Get out of here! Fix the servers, man."
Yeah, actually, Leslie, what do you think about it?
I don't know. I haven't played that game in so long. I can't believe it's still even relevant.
I mean, but isn't it like kind of almost like anything where anytime you get something so big, there's always that there's like that 2% that just clutches on forever?
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure it'll always have some kind of following, but I don't see it ever becoming as big as it was when it first started.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
What about the class action lawsuit? Do you think they have a case or no?
No, I think that's ridiculous. It's their own damn fault.
What? No, I think so too. Like it's like I want to be following this case very loosely, like just enough to see like what the deal is. But like if they get any money, if they give any money to any of these people, I think it's kind of BS.
I think what they should do, I think what Niantic could say is, look, if there's someone who actually has like a legitimate work, like if these people flew in from Japan, if you're there for a media reason and Niantic knew you were coming, then Niantic should say, settle, don't do this, and we'll talk to you. But
that's probably what they're going to end up doing.
Generic people on the street who chose to come to this event, that's on you. No one made you come to this. You didn't have any obligation to come to this. Oh, I'm a Twitch streamer who plays Pokemon Go. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. This is my forest. Get the fuck out.
Speaking of which.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which.
Tangentially jumping across. Szechuan sauce coming to McDonald's.
Szechuan sauce, baby!
Just in time for the Rick and Morty Season 3 premiere, which I have watched and Leslie and Tyler have not.
Damn.
It was funny. Also, well, technically not the season premiere because the season premiere happened back on April Fool's Day. Yep. Episode 2 of... Wow. I don't know what that
was.
Don't
die, Tim.
Episode 2 of Season 3 came out, and it was very good. And although this is not a spoiler... It's actually kind of strange. I wasn't constantly laughing the whole time.
Really?
It's almost like they've tried to make it a more... Like, they actually want to balance a little more seriousness in with the laughs. Because it was still very funny when it was funny. But there were periods where I was like... When I actually thought back on it, I'm like, wow, I didn't laugh for like a solid minute. But I wasn't... It wasn't not enjoyment. It was just being engrossed in a different way. But anyway, it's just a fun story that after months of people campaigning, ever since the season premiere on April 1st, McDonald's decided, hey, we'll bring it back. Which is funny also because I thought I read a couple days ago that someone sent a bunch of, or McDonald's even sent a bunch of Szechuan sauce to Justin Roiland.
I saw that too.
Nice.
You have to imagine that this is hilarious to the... Oh, actually, I saw a tweet from Justin Roiland where he's like, if anybody else wants us to bring back some 80s and 90s shit, just tweet it at me and we'll get it in the next season.
Jesus Christ.
That's fucking hilarious.
I think it's kind of impressive. Especially from McDonald's. I never imagined McDonald's would even consider, like, okay, like, yo, should we actually bring back Szechuan sauce? Like... Was it really that much of a banger? And then, like, I bet everybody's like, eh. And then I bet like it ended with, you know what, let's just get in on this like nostalgia craze and like bring it back. I can see it coming back for a limited time, not staying.
I could see it easily being like a here's 1 month.
Yes.
To
yeah,
celebrate
like
the launch
limited.
of Rick and Morty, we gave them some like they advertised for us accidentally. We'll fucking give the sauce for a month and get some nerd business. Apparently, the season premiere had like over 1 million live viewers on TV, which is kind of crazy these days.
Jeez. On TV.
I that number could be totally wrong. I thought I remember seeing premiere and 1 million. Maybe that was the live stream or something for the back a few months ago. Either way, Rick and Morty's in the zeitgeist. Like I think I mentioned to you guys a few weeks ago. I went outside, or I sent you guys a picture on Facebook to the group, and there was one of my coworkers had a Rick and Morty sun shield on their car.
Oh yeah.
And like that's pretty heavy duty when you got sun shields.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
anyway, we're almost done with news though. We got 2 left.
Yeah.
Tyler?
All right, so this one is kind of near and dear to me. Only because like I think it's like the second like thing of comics I've ever gotten into. So like, well, kind of third. I read like Battle Royale first, thanks to Leslie.
Woo!
And I read Fables, also thanks to Leslie.
Woohoo!
And yeah, right. And I also read The Runaways from Marvel, and it's one of my favorite like comic book storylines ever. And it's getting a Hulu TV show.
Sweet.
Now I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. I mean, it's Hulu. My friend Trevor, who got me into the series, we were talking about it before, and we're like, we don't know. It's Hulu. They're also producing Marvel, so who knows? And I'm surprised it's not Netflix. I figured like Marvel would have had like an exclusive deal with Netflix, but I guess not. But it also got confirmed this week or like after the podcast date last week that it's gonna actually take place within the Marvel universe.
That seems insane.
Yeah. So
that's honestly that's crazy just because it's not with Netflix on their platform.
Yeah, it's on a rival platform, sort of.
And you've already produced. You're about to release your 4th. No,
yeah,
sixth,
Defenders.
6th season of a TV show on Netflix.
Yep.
That's
and Defenders is
insane.
coming out
Marvel
in a couple weeks.
How long ago did Marvel come out? Like 3 years, 4 years?
What with Netflix?
Yeah. Yeah, not the shitty Ben Affleck movie.
Oh yeah, Daredevil came out about 3 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've already cranked out 2 more spin-offs. Well, about to be 3, and then they're also going to put out a Punisher one.
Here's an honest question. Does that mean Marvel feels like they have so much that they need even more production on it, and Netflix couldn't provide it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Is Marvel so expanding so fast and feeling like they need the constant zeitgeist that they are just slamming it so hard?
I could see that. I'm surprised, though, because The Runaways, it's not a very well-known series, but I remember, Leslie, why I thought you might have read it, because it was written by Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why you should read it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I have that too. Yeah. But yeah, like it was really well written, but the problem was it was canceled. Like it wasn't that well known. Like I talked to anyone about it and like almost no one's heard of them. They're basically they're essentially mutants. It's about these group of kids and they have most of them have special like powers or abilities. And I can't remember if their parents, but their parents are a part of like a secret organization. I don't think it's the Hand necessarily. What?
It's called The Pride.
Oh, that's right. Oh, are you looking it up right now?
Yeah, I went onto the Wikipedia page.
Tyler,
Okay,
this is my favorite comic of all time.
It is. No, but there's like some things like I forget about, right? Like I forget a lot of things. It's not my favorite of all time. Battle Royale and Fable are they're closely tied for that. Like Battle Royale. I think Actually, this is the first year so far I haven't read Battle Royale since I've been reading it, Leslie.
What?
Like, I've read Battle Royale ever since you recommended it to me. Every year since then. This is the
I
first
read it
time
every year
haven't-
too.
Yeah.
It's a yearly tradition.
In fact, so far as I went to buy the entire physical copies of the books, that's how much I liked it, and it was like $100.
So
Except for the.
I'm just gonna chime in with an off-topic news thing that I just saw.
Sure.
As if the Lion King random unnecessary CGI live-action remake needed more crazy voice actors. Chiwetel, I hope I pronounce his name right. Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's the guy who played the buddy in Doctor Strange. He is in talks to be Scar.
Really?
Along with Donald Glover as Simba, James Earl Jones as Mufasa, and John Oliver as Zazu.
Holy that lineup!
Yep.
What?
I already knew about the last three, but that's a new one for Scar.
What a lineup!
That seems like a
Holy
weird
cow.
one for Scar. I remember Scar being so menacing in the other one.
Wait, they got James Earl Jones as Mufasa again?
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude! Yo, I am so glad that James Earl Jones is still doing things.
That's pretty fucking nuts, dude. He's been going for a long ass time.
Yeah, man. I hope he still does. I hope he still does until the day he goes, man.
I mean,
like
look
Adam
at,
West.
remember fucking the guy who did what's his name from the Ducks?
The Ducks.
DuckTales. Woo.
Now I'm lost. I barely
No,
watched
not-
DuckTales. I'll be real.
Yeah, but remember the video game came out? The new version of the old game? It was like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
And they still had the guy who was the voice actor for Scrooge, and he's like 85, and he did the voice acting for that game.
Damn.
It's fucking nuts. Anyway, final story. This is me
I wonder.
getting...
Sorry,
What?
just
No, go ahead.
really quick. I'm just wondering why they didn't get what the hell is his name? Jeremy Irons. What is the name? Who played Scar in the original?
Well, that's what I'm
Wait,
saying. He was so
Jeremy
menacing.
Irons played Scar in the
Actually,
movie?
yeah.
Yeah, you
Literally,
didn't
the
know
next
that?
line of the article is
No,
Jeremy
I
Irons voiced the
didn't.
line in the original
Yeah, Jeremy
1994.
Irons was the voice of Scar. I'm wondering why he's not reprising his role.
He does like B movies now. What the fuck?
He's not
They
dead.
could totally get
He's
him
not
to
dead.
do that movie. I know, shots fired at Jeremy Irons, but like shit. Yeah, even Danny's like, shut the fuck up. Don't talk about Jeremy Irons like that.
No, but
I'm just calling it how it is.
that's I'm thinking back to like his voice in Doctor Strange. He has like a much lower, deeper voice, kind of like James Earl Jones. I always remember how menacing. I guess they're trying to do like a subtler thing or something. Because spoiler alert, Doctor Strange. You know.
Strand.
Anyway, final news story. Just to get the magic news in there every week, because I gotta. Past weekend was Pro Tour Hour of Devastation, and lo and behold, out of the fucking blue, Mono Red took the whole thing by absolute storm. Everyone was like, look at all these crazy white-blue decks and all this other bullshit, and then just, Red, just kill everything, and Red aggro. Just demolished. Like, top six of the top 8 decks were Mono Red.
Damn.
Like, fucking absolute meta crazy shift. And already people are like, this is clearly too good. This is too good. Because it's Reddit, and that's how Reddit literally... That's the voice of Reddit is just this. It's just autism
Reddit
voice.
pops off.
But it's just crazy that that's the case. We also got confirmation that I'm very excited for Commander 2017 coming later this month. I'm sure me and Freeman will talk about it more once we know more, but they confirmed that the 4 tribes of Commander this year are 5-color dragons for Leslie, green-white cats also for Leslie, and for Friedman, red, black, white vampires for Val, and red, blue, and black wizards for me, because I am super hyped about Grixis wizards. That sounds absolutely amazing.
You nerd.
You fucking nerd.
Okay. But anyway, that's coming out later this month, so we're all going to go buy boxes. And hopefully we should be getting spoilers next week or the week after.
He's hoping.
Within 2 weeks, we'll know more about the decks for you, for your cats, Leslie, and your dragons.
The cat dragons.
They're literally the
literal cat dragons, as we saw.
But yeah, so we don't have Weep Corner this week because Freeman's not here. He actually messaged me and Tyler when he said he couldn't get on the podcast and he had some news, but we'll save it so he could talk about it next week. Because I'm sure he wants to talk about it again. Apparently, though, has plenty of time at work to fucking like memes on Facebook, though.
Damn. Shots fired.
But anyway, we're going to take our break, and when we return, we are going to talk about DMing Dungeons & Dragons, because we are the 3 people in our group who have DM'd a game. So,
yeah.
And are all actually currently DMing a game.
Yeah, very true.
So anyway, we're going to take our break, go get a drink, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Hello, everyone. What's going on? We're back. We're back. We're here to talk about DMing D&D games.
Dimming.
Because we're experts.
We're all, well, we have one expert and one guy who's done related work and is running a game, and then one person who is Leslie.
Damn! Wow! Holy shit!
I didn't say anything that could be construed as an insult or a compliment. I just said it was Leslie.
Fucking torch, dude.
Oh my god! Podcast is on fire. We're cancel. We're done.
We're
12
done.
episodes.
It's over.
We got a dozen podcasts. Baker's Dozen sucks. Get out of here. Yo, Baker's Dozen though. Val and I. Leslie, hold on. This is totally important news. Do you remember that super tiny little donut cart on wheels that we saw? Right near the apartment in that parking lot next to the Planet Fitness?
Oh, yeah.
Leslie, we went to CVS today and we walked by there and the guy was in there for the first time since we moved here.
Oh, yeah.
We bought 6 donuts. They're tiny little, like, maybe twice as big. You know those little frosted ones you buy in, like, the Entenmann's or whatever?
Uh-huh.
They're like twice as big as those, and you can only buy sugar, cinnamon sugar, or plain. And we walked up and we bought 6, and he's so nice. We want to go back there every day now. And I'm like,
no, Val's on a diet.
I know, it's not serious. But the important thing is that I was like, hey, can we only want 6, we want to try both. Can we get cinnamon and sugar? And he's like, oh, of course. I just made fresh ones. Let me get you these. So we watch him. He takes donuts. He just throws 3 donuts in this giant bowl of sugar in this giant, literally just a plastic container from Walmart with cinnamon sugar in it. Shakes them up, throws all 6 in a bag. $4. Here's a 5. Okay, here's your single. No taxes, I'm sure.
Wow.
We're walking away.
Are they good?
They were so good.
Oh my god.
They had a crunchy outer shell.
Stop it.
But they were still warm, but they were damp enough that the sugar clung to them without it all falling off.
About it anymore.
It was so good.
Wait, Leslie, are we going on an adventure?
To fucking Ohio?
Yeah, screw coming out here to hang out with us like we've been asking you guys to since we moved. No, it's for these fucking donuts. No, but actually, no, these donuts were really fucking good.
But for real,
we got back. And Val was like, Tim, I'm already eating a second one. And I'm like, well, fuck. Now I don't get a second one. But they were so good. Literally took one bite and then shoved the whole rest of it in my mouth. I'm like, I can't. This is too good.
Sounds amazing.
They were really good. And the only other things he sells is hand squeezed lemonade, which we didn't try, and hot coffee, which we also didn't get.
Stop.
It's so good. I'm like, Val, every morning you could just walk over and get a donut and a coffee from him and be his best friend in like a week. He was so nice. Oh my god. He greeted everyone differently. The guy behind us had like some sports shirt on, and as we walked away, we heard him be like, hey, a whatever fan. It's like, he's such
a whatever fan.
And he's an old guy, so he's like so nice and oh god. Anyway, totally off topic.
A little.
But that was like the best part of the day was leaving work, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to walk to CVS after I get back from work just because Val doesn't want to walk alone. And then it's like, oh, okay, it was worth it. We got these delicious fucking donuts. It's like, oh, the guy's open. Well, we have to try it now.
So we going to Ohio for like a day. We're not even seeing Tim, right?
I mean, you're literally gonna be within 100 yards of my apartment, but we won't see you, I'm sure.
Yeah, you probably won't. Sorry.
But anyway, DMing.
Yeah, DMing things.
Just like, dem donuts.
Fuck
donuts.
off. God damn it.
No, but so I tried to come up with a few bullet points that would kind of spur conversation. And I don't like how I worded this first one, so I'm going to change it a little bit. Like, so obviously I've been doing this a lot longer than you guys. You've both started. Leslie, you started about 2 years ago when we started hanging out regularly.
Yes.
And Tyler, you started last year when you started hanging with us and when you started playing with your other buddies, right?
Yeah, I played when I was in college a bit.
Oh, okay. So you had a little.
Yeah,
bit of time, too.
like I said, I ran that Pokemon game
Oh yeah,
for maybe a year and some change.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
So you've actually had almost more experience running than playing.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, so the first thing that's worth talking about, in my mind, of course, is just like it's one thing to say you're running the game versus not running the game. Like you're being a player versus the creator is obviously different, but it's cool how part of the reason. So we're running, for those at home, we're kind of playing 2 games at once all the time. I'm about to finish running my game based on Fable, the first Fable game. We did one session during our vacation 2 weeks ago, actually, where we played Tyler's futurist kind of Deus Exy game. And on Mondays, every once in a blue moon, we play Leslie's game, which is with a smaller group. It's just me, Tyler, and my girlfriend. And
Danny, please.
the reason for that is originally when we started oh my god, it's like not even worth trying when she gets in the mood.
Just give it a minute. Just give it a minute.
Just give it a
Like,
minute.
what even is it? It's like before it was your mom coming upstairs, but now it's just nothing.
I'm sure it's something.
All right, well, it's stopped now. So anyway,
I'm sure it's something.
I'm sure it's something. It's oh my god. And then Mugen's like egging her on. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what Mugen does.
Oh my god. He's like,
Mugen's
please,
an asshole, dude.
Yeah.
Try so hard.
Yeah, try so hard to be a dick.
Oh my god.
Yo, no, Leslie knows I'm right.
All right, so this is the spin-off podcast where we just talk about Leslie's animals and all their qualities because that's like a whole podcast worth.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Anyway, a big part of the reason why we have more than one game going is I've been running the Fable game for over a year now, or almost a year actually, technically, and I love running a game, but I also love playing. You guys both know that I like to plan things out. I like to be given a problem and try to puzzle it out. And it's a lot more fun and easy to do that when you're not God.
Yeah.
When you're the player, it's even a crappy DM can accidentally give you a good challenge and a good puzzle to solve. That's not a judgment of either of you. That's just statement.
Sorry, what did you say, Danny? I just.
Danny.
I was saying how even a crappy DM can give you good puzzles to solve, and that's part of why I love being a player. And the reason... Oh, now I'm echoing. That might be Leslie's microphone compensating for background noise. Anyway. God. I like being the DM, but also the player. So after we started Fable and had it going for a few months, that was when I was like, and the other game I was running kind of fell apart around New Year's this year. I was like, who wants to run their own game? Because I would love to be a player at the same time. Because I feel like being a player gives you extra insight into how to run a game. While at the same time, it's it helps you recharge, because running a game is such a, like, you have to come up with everything for all the players, whereas just a player, you have to focus on what your player is, and it's such a different challenge.
Yeah, like I see, like, you know, you have to, like, you're mostly worried about, like, sort of what your teammates are doing, but, like, you mostly have to focus on, like, what you're doing, and, like, you have to be responsible for at least yourself. Whereas opposed to you're the DM, it's almost like you're a supervisor, right? It's like you're responsible for everybody. You have to make sure that you know what everybody else is, like, what their plans are, what they plan on doing, what their classes are, what their character traits are, yada yada yada.
It's a lot more to keep track of, and this kind of goes into a point I was going to raise later, but it's a fine balancing act for the DM between trying to give the players space to do what they want, but one of the biggest pitfalls, I feel like, is just to open the world. Actually, I can't... If Luigi was on, he could corroborate this, but with Ed's games. Ed's games back in high school were these huge... You guys have heard me talk about it before and complain about it a lot, because Ed, being Ed, would just kind of start us somewhere, and then with the kind of people who were in our group, they would immediately just fly in 1,000 directions all at once. It's like Ed would give us the barest starting point, and as soon as we could escape that scenario, some of these guys would just run off and do whatever, because they'd be like, Ed, I want to start a riot, and Ed would be like, roll diplomacy. You run around and start a riot.
Yeah, you gotta, like...
That's the kind of person Ed was, and that's dangerous. You can't... obviously, again, it's a strange circumstance because the podcast listeners don't know Ed, but suffice to say, any kind of that openness with almost the power of a character is too much, because you're basically giving the player the tools to destroy themselves. Yeah,
you gotta... It's like you have to make sure that they don't kill themselves, like, retardedly sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, or you could just let them kill themselves.
The problem with that is I never like running into scenarios where you have to reintroduce someone, because it's too easy for a player to fall back into the mindset of an old character. It's so hard to make something totally fresh and new in the middle of a campaign when you're usually not as powerful, and because you're playing with your friends, you want the group dynamic to work again immediately, but realistically it never would.
Yeah, no, like Fable. Fable is actually a really good example for most of the campaign. Like, my character and Luigi's character technically didn't really vibe with the group, really. Like, the group's dynamic, but it was interesting. It created, like, that underlying RP experience that, like, we had to figure out.
But at the same time, you all were still friends.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you guys came into the group fresh.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
That's what I mean. Like, if a character dies and it's like, oh, roll up a new character sheet and you can join the party, realistically, that person would lose. Like, that's why when we're playing, I try to make you guys work outside the stats sometimes. Like, when I just say, oh, you rolled a 1, just roll a d20 to tell me how bad it is, because the numbers are useful, but you have to be able to work around the numbers and find ways to get to the answers you want without just numbers.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's also part of the thing too. Like, I mean, I might think about, like, rolling another 20, but, like, I think of, like, the situation, and it's like, okay, well, like, what exactly is a 1, right? Yeah. Like, 1 is, like, a critical failure. It doesn't have to mean, like, oh, you instantly get fucking murked, right? Like, that doesn't mean anything. It's like, okay, you're shooting your gun, or, like, you're swinging your sword. Like, all right, your sword gets stuck into the ground. You're gonna, like, if you want to get it out, you have to take, like, a move action to take it out of take it out of the ground, or unjam your gun or some shit like that.
Or one of the best cases I like to do for this is when you guys roll sense of motive. If someone rolls a 1, you get a completely. It's not like your brain shuts down. I mean,
you just
we
get
jokingly say that when
different.
you roll a spot check and you roll a 1, you go blind temporarily or something like that. That's just funny. But when you roll a sense motive for a 1, you are absolutely sure of the wrong thing. You get the wrong read on the person.
Right.
It's did you guys ever watch the College Humor Batman stuff? That they did? It was really stupid. I
I've
might
seen
have
it
showed it to you
once.
guys.
I've seen one of them.
There's one where he interrogates the wrong Joker. It's just a guy who was a clown at a party and was drunk or something. And he goes into that guy's room, and he's, like, beating the shit out of him, interrogating him, and this guy's, like, terrified and trying to get away from Batman. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But it's almost like that, where you get the complete... I mean, in that case, Batman's an idiot, but... And that's a joke. But in your guys' case, it's just, like, you see a meek person, and you're absolutely convinced that they're lying. And that they need to be terrorized. Whereas if you, like you said, roll a 1 in combat, maybe your sword gets stuck, or... Maybe you hit your sword, like I remember when you guys were at the fishing hut, and Freeman swung the twin blade that he had, his twin blade.
Oh, God.
And he rolled a 1, and he didn't get it stuck on the ground. He swung it into the chimney and shattered it.
Because he rolled that, he rolled like a 1, that first one, and then he rolled a 2?
Yeah, he rolled
like,
really
or a 1?
bad.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude.
But that's something I'm sorry, I don't want to. Because I'm thinking about this. There's like a spectrum of DMing, because I actually experienced 2 extremes really early on. When I first started playing D&D in high school, it was very short time, like 2 months, with this group of guys Ed introduced me to. And one of them ran the game very seriously. You earned a few experience points for your mission. You got a brownie point, which was worth like 300 XP, and you leveled up very slowly. We got to like level 4 before he moved away or something. And we used miniatures. Then we go to Ed's world, where me and Ed resurrected D&D, and then DJ and everybody came in. And Ed was just, do whatever you want. There's no play mat. Just do whatever. Just you rolled for just 20. I guess you can take over a town. You could walk into the mayor's office and be like, I own town. And he's like, okay.
Jesus. That's
I mean, the first game we played with Ed, where we had a large scale thing happen, was I took over a town. Everybody decided to take over the world to fight against me. And then Ed accidentally let slip that I teleported my city to another dimension to keep them safe. They all followed me and burned me, and then we said the game was done.
Damn.
That was how Ed's first campaign, that wasn't just the 2 of us after that other guy moved, went down.
Amazing. Leslie,
yes,
how do
Leslie, you need to chime in on DMing.
I haven't had a chance to chime in.
That's what I was trying to get her to.
Oh, okay, so what do you want me to chime in about?
Well, you've been DMing for only a little while. What do you think of DMing?
It's really hard. You guys know how much I struggle with it.
I mean, I did preface saying we play your game once in a blue moon.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think a lot of it is the motivation to really sit down and create your world and kind of just like consider all of the possible scenarios your players can go through and having to realize that you're never actually going to plan for every single one of them and that your players are going to screw you over at some point.
I am so glad you said that. That's actually really, really gladdening for me to hear, because that's a point that some DMs never catch on to. Oh my God.
That you're going to get derailed at some point.
I mean,
like, in my game, I was derailed when Luigi decided to create a racist Asian character who owned a noodle stand and was actually just the split personality of a character Friedman had made.
Bro, that was the best, worst thing I've ever experienced.
And then he never played it again.
And then his character died because he rolled a 1 on his fortitude save to actually wake up in the morning, so I decided his character died in the night.
Yo, that's some writing, though. That's solid enough writing to justify killing off a personality, right?
Not even a whole person, just a personality.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. But I just thought it was funny. But, I remember immediately after that, you're like, never again. Never again. Which, you know what? I don't even blame you. Like that was like an example maybe of giving someone too much freedom. Like I even think Luigi was like, yeah, maybe this is a little bit too ridiculous.
Well, I don't know if that's too much freedom or just inexperience. A first-time DM is going to say, do whatever you want. Like, that's... Because... And that's not a shot against you, Leslie. Everyone does it because everyone's like, I want my players to have the most fun possible. They can do what they want. But no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you can go ahead. I was going to share my own, like, do whatever shame, like, story. Oh, my goodness. Like, my Pokemon game. So instead of, like I had my friends, right? They broke off into 2 different groups. So I was essentially running 2 campaigns at the same time that I was trying to make parallel, but, like, it was just so difficult because I basically had to run 2 different games the same week. And that was difficult. But, like, one kid, like, my one friend, he just wanted to go off, like, the beaten path. And he wanted to do all these things that, like, went against me. And this is the weirdest thing, because, like, he wanted to get a Pokemon catcher that would catch other people's Pokemon. He wanted to be the bad guy, essentially.
Oh, shit.
And it got to the point where, like, he joined Team Magma instead of, like, intending for me to, like, okay, you should, like, go kill them now. And then he's just like, no, I'm going to join them. I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I guess you could. And he started doing, like, all these really bad things. And I'm like, oh, man, well, I can't just, like, outright kill him. I got to just present him with things that, like, he would kill, like, you know, that would possibly kill him, have a high chance of killing him. Wouldn't kill this bastard. He wouldn't die. He wouldn't die at all. And, like, everybody, but then it was kind of funny, though, because I was going to make him the main bad guy, and then everybody else, like, in the game that was, like, either in it with him, or everybody else was just going to join up and then kill him, because he was going to be the last boss. We'll kill him, defeat him, however they wanted to take care of it, because they're like, yeah, we don't like Michael's character. We don't like him. Like, in-game, we don't like Michael's character either, so we're going to do something about it, probably. And I was like, I'll leave that up to you.
See, that's where the magic of D&D happens. Right in those little interactions that just happen.
Yup.
Like, hell, in your guys' game, what's happened as far as character progression? Val went from being a rogue to a cleric of Avo.
What the fuck?
Luigi completely changed alignment from being evil. And...
Guts is still kind of an asshole, but he values his friends a lot more.
Guts threw away the Sword of Aeons.
Yep.
And also Luigi repented for you guys literally slaughtering a village.
Like, you mean Luigi repented for him slaughtering an entire village?
Yes. He threw you under a bus so that you would throw away the Sword of Aeons because he's a dick, okay? What do you want me to say?
He is a penis.
But it's like those interactions and moments are where the actual magic and the fun of D&D is. Like, those are where the stories come from. Like,
right. Like the ant, Leslie.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, Leslie, I want you to tell this story because this couldn't happen in any other game or thing ever.
Oh dear god. All right. You'll have to remind me, why were we there in the first place?
Val and Luigi and Freeman were in the Temple of Avo, and you two were outside.
Oh, that's right. That's when Val decided to go on her suicide mission.
Yeah, because Guts got salty. Guts got salty, and he was like, yo, I'm leaving.
All right, I remember.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, we killed our father. Okay, by we, I mean Val got the killing blow on our father figure, who unfortunately turned to the dark side or whatever. He was an asshole.
Technically wasn't evil.
Technically
he wasn't evil.
Was an asshole. And we had this whole big fight with him, and Val ended up having the killing blow. And Val's character was actually the closest with this character. So she, the next day or whatever, I don't know, her character decided that she was going to run off when all of us were sleeping. Or no, we were all partying because we basically like half saved the world. So we were all partying, and she decided to go upstairs, and she snuck off in the middle of the night to go to the Temple of Avo and she just ended up laying on the floor and crying for an entire session. Tyler's character got fed up with this and decided to leave the temple and go outside. And my character, Hogthor, who is a druid, followed him. And Hogthor he's a pretty great guy. He's a nice guy. He wants to see his friends happy. So
eats hearts, but no big deal.
He decided he was going to use his magical prowess to brighten his friend's day. So I'm not sure. I can't. What is the spell called?
Don't remember. Doesn't matter.
I don't remember. Doesn't matter. But it's a higher level druid spell, and basically it gives target animal human intelligence. So Hogthor decided that the best way to cheer up his friend Guts was to say, "Hey, you want to see something neat?" And
last words.
He picked up an ant and gave this ant human intelligence.
Now, every time you're saying he is in Hogthor.
Yeah, he is in Hogthor. Hogthor is a male.
Hogthor is Leslie.
Hogthor is me.
Because when you keep saying he, it makes it sound like you're talking about someone else.
No, God. And it just spirals. It just spirals from there, though.
Yeah, so the DM, being Tim, decided that as this ant with human intelligence would awaken with its new mind and immediately start screaming about how horrible its life is living as a drone to the higher power of the hive. And it just starts screaming and crying about how horrible its life is and just, please end it. And
it's amazing.
This obviously shakes Hogthor and Guts up pretty bad, and Guts goes to kill the ant quickly, but Hogthor, myself, ended up rolling a nat 20 reflex save. But as I tried to flip my hand out of the way to save the ant's life, it ended up somehow it ended up falling into Guts' mouth. And the way Tim described it was like Gandalf falling through the mines of Moria with the Balrog, as this poor ant, given human intelligence, its last moments of life, as it fell into Guts' stomach and was dissolved in the acid. And
Tyler could hear the ant talk.
Yeah, I can
inside
hear
his stomach.
Kill me! Kill me!
It was
the moral of
traumatizing.
the story being that maybe not everything is as neat as you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And to not use your magical powers unwisely. Guts and Hogthor still have not talked about this experience or shared it with the group in any way.
And we'll never speak. I thought you guys agreed to never speak of it again.
No, yeah, we never spoke of it again. We are close. We got that bonding time. In fact, I like Hogthor though, because everybody else never asked how Guts felt, and I was like, wow, that's actually some powerful shit.
Hey,
Guts feels strongly.
All I know is that's where stories come from, and a story like that doesn't happen without the DM playing along.
Yeah.
Because I could have just been like, the ant has intelligence, what do you want to do? It's about the embellishments.
Kill me!
So that space is what I got from Ed, from watching Ed DM. That kind of embellishment is all thanks to Ed. Like, when I tell you guys how a killing blow lands, a boring DM just tells you your hit lands and it's dead. I tell you, oh, Tyler, you rolled a nat 20 on your final attack on Arachnarox, the giant scorpion. Well, let's see if Friedman can help you. He can. You both stab it together and raise it on your twin blades in the sky and set it alight, and it's like a giant building-sized torch. That's a little more exciting than you killed the giant scorpion.
That was anime, but you know what was anime as fuck? When our fucking swords disappear when we're fighting Jack. and then our swords reappear as the twin blades because we both rolled a nat 20. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's happening! It's happening!
Or when you and Friedman went to shoot open the gate in the necropolis, and you both rolled well enough that your beams clashed, and you fucking blasted open the door, and it left the mark of the twin blades on the door.
We are actually the twin blades, though. Whenever we roll shit, it's like, it's always consistent with each other. It's the creepiest thing.
I know, and it's fun to take advantage of as the DM.
Yeah.
But it's...
Another instance of just kind of... Tim, you based your game off of Fable.
Yes.
So you already have a set world and set parameters, but you also will sometimes let us go outside of those parameters. I'm going to strangle this bird. And I think one of the best instances, and I might be biased, is that time I ate the heart.
Oh, God. That shit. Oh, my goodness.
So, Tim, if you want to tell it.
Oh, no, go ahead. I know how much... You talk about this story enough. Go ahead.
Hey, it's a crowning achievement for myself and for Hogthor, is this story.
I know, go ahead. You deserve it.
All right, so for anyone who is familiar with the Fable game, you come to a quest line where you're in Not Glade, and you need to defeat the White Balverine, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically just a werewolf. A scary werewolf with creepy fingers.
Yeah, they basically walk on all fours. Or can go on all fours or bipedal.
Yeah, the long digits he has.
Yeah, the creepy giant fingers.
Creepy fingers. But they're basically a werewolf. So our team gets together, and we're able to defeat the White Balverine. And I think...
More specifically, you chased it out of town after Luigi almost died.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Luigi was almost mauled to death by it.
Yes.
See, that happens so often now, I just forget all the times he gets mauled, though.
Luigi's near-death experiences.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, keep going. So you chased it away from town.
Yeah, we chased away from town, and then how did we track it down?
I'm trying to remember. I think we just tracked it.
I think you were told that it had been spotted because it had been getting bolder and bolder. I think you had been told it lived near the lake, and the chieftain gave you the silver augmentation.
Oh, that's right. So we tracked this thing down, and we're able to defeat it. I'm not sure who landed the killing blow. But we're able to bring it down, and I think Luigi and Friedman wanted to bring the body back to town to, I don't know, sell it, show off, something like that. But one, they couldn't pick it up. Neither of them were strong enough to carry the body.
They both rolled poorly.
Second, they wanted to cut its head off or something. And again, they both rolled poorly, and they just kind of like hacked this thing to pieces to the point where they couldn't even save the pelt because it was just so riddled with
that was rough.
Stab wounds.
That was rough.
Yeah, very sad. So then my character, Hogthor, being a druid, decides to reach into the body cavity and pull out its heart. And Tim asks, okay, what do you want to do with the heart? It's in your hand. And I say I'm going to eat it. And everyone kind of looked at me like I was crazy because I think Luigi rolled and verified that it was some kind of poison. But I decided to go with it anyway, and I ate the heart. And I rolled pretty well on it, and basically because I was a druid, the next time I leveled up, Tim told me that now I would be able to take the form of a White Balverine.
Explain where that comes from, though. What does a druid have that led to that?
What do you mean? A druid can shapeshift.
Yes, druids can shapeshift. In D&D 3.5, at least, I don't know how it goes in later ones, or even if there are druids. Are there druids in 5, Tyler?
Yeah, there are. They just don't get animal companions.
They can still shapeshift, though?
Yeah, you could get animal companions, but they're not embedded right into the class.
Yeah,
it's mostly just shape shifting.
For those who don't play D&D, druids can shapeshift. So what I said to Leslie, well, the heart was poisonous. It had the Balverine disease, because this is the progenitor of the Balverines, is what I said, because that's technically how the storyline goes. But I said that since Leslie, I think, rolled well on Fortitude or Constitution or something,
or both.
I can't even remember. It doesn't really. Or Will, I think, was even part of it, maybe. She managed to absorb the essence of the white Balverine by eating its heart, and through that, she gained the ability to, instead of transforming into a more normal animal, transform into the white Balverine. Which was then used to various effects later on in the game for either combat or intimidation purposes.
The magic show. We'll never forget. Never forget the magic show.
That was amazing.
But what about people of Not Whole Glade? They're gonna have PTSD from the white Balverine. Just make them stay inside. God. See, it's gems like that make D&D great. I guess that also kind of helps with story. Building a world, though, which Leslie kind of started with, technically.
Yeah, so back to that before we got off topic. Within topic, though, so we already said that Tim's world is based on Fable, and by based on Fable, I mean we're basically playing Fable with modifications.
Luckily, none of you know it that well, because Luigi forgot it, and he's the only one who played it in recent memory.
Yeah. But for my world, I tried kind of making my own, but it's also heavily based off of books I've read, shows I watch, movies I like, with, I don't know, a little bit of comic thrown in there as well. So the hard part about my game is, I don't even know, the whole thing is hard. I find being a DM very difficult.
The whole thing, man.
The whole thing is very difficult. And I think I might have been a little bit too ambitious with it, maybe. And it kind of comes back to how much freedom do you give your players. Because I didn't want to shoehorn them into making them do what I wanted the game to be. I wanted to give them the freedom to kind of choose how they wanted to go about it. And they've chosen a little differently than what I was expecting and what I was anticipating to happen.
Really?
So, a little bit, yeah. Because even in the very beginning of my game, it was almost like a choose your own adventure. Like, if you do A, B happens, and that's how the game is going to run. And in my game, they had to, there was like a split second, or not a split second, but there, a character came into the room that they were, all of the players were in, and was basically like, what the hell just happened? And depending on how that entire situation went down, basically determined how the rest of the game was going to be played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
For a short spoiler, just because no one's ever gonna, without context, it's a little harder for the listener to get it probably. Yeah. In Leslie's game, me, Val, my girlfriend, and Tyler, we were royal guardsmen of the princess of the land, and she was going to be, the king was going to step down the next day, and the princess was going to be coronated queen. And we were her guardsmen, and we went out for a ride and encountered a corrupted magical unicorn, killed it. I took its head, or its horn, actually, I had to end up taking. That was fine. Came in useful later. We got back to the castle, and 3 new guardsmen had arrived earlier that day who the captain of the guard had introduced us to as being from her hometown. And we came to the princess's chambers to find the king crazy looking and those 3 guardsmen with him. And he attacked us. And the princess and us were forced to engage them, and we killed the guards, and the princess ended up killing her dad. And then the captain of the guard walks into the room and sees the princess kneeling over the body of her father. the captain of the Royal Guard. And she looks in, and Val speaks up and rolls diplomacy, and thank God Val got her on our side and convinced her that we weren't crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. And then it said and then it was all downhill from there. We were on the run ever since.
But
I thought you said the game was downhill from there. I was like, damn.
No, Like, oh god, like it's just been like nonstop fear around every turn. Like every town we go to, like, oh god, we gotta hide the princess. Oh god, we might get caught. Oh god.
We finally established our cover at least. We are the First Dawn mercenaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say though, it's really hard after, right? Like building your own world, like it's just difficult because like you're building a lot of brand new content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, and it's like really hard to like you have to set up a lot of hard rules. You got to make sure like the staples of your world are consistent throughout, and you have to remember that at all times. Like you have to keep refreshing yourself. Like, okay, yeah, this is definitely how I wrote it. And like I was looking back on like all my notes that I've written over the past like couple of months for my game, and I'm like, holy shit, I have so much fucking shit. Like, I mean, it's just
Tyler. People at home don't know this, but you have a notebook. We all have D&D notebooks, and now we all have a second one that's personalized. But you've been writing in your notebook for months now, like during my game or whenever we all hang out, and you've been world building for a long frickin' time for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like it's like a time sink too, because it's like there's like rules you want to establish and a lot of cool things you want, and it's like you have to find the right balance of like what to include and when. Like there are things that I want to add still to it, like a lot of like other really cool shit, but like I can't add it yet because, or like really think about it because I have to spend time on not just the world now, but I have to balance writing the world and making an immersive experience for you guys, the players, right? And it's almost like, oh man, this is why there are multiple jobs of these. You know, you got the writer and you got like the level designer, the character designer, the mission designer, right? But like the DM is all of that. The DM has to make sure that like, you know, the fights, at least this is from my experience, right? Like doing game design, like you don't want to have an overwhelmingly hard experience unless like that's like your niche market. But it's like if you really want to have like a true like good like positive player experience, you want to make it so like it's a challenging experience, and at the same time, you know, like you want your players to succeed. Like you want to make them feel like, you know, that their choices mattered and like that it definitely took them a long time to get there. So it's like, but you can't do that and, you know, also have a lot more time to world build. So I'm glad I had, from like a personal experience, I'm glad I had a lot of time to establish a lot of the rules and like add things. And I'm still working on things like Leslie's sniper mechanic. That I'm having, and like anyone else who wants to partake in it, right? Because Tim mentioned earlier that like my world is kind of set in like the not too distant future, but it also has magic in it. So like I would imagine like, you know, like D&D of the future, like kind of like with Blade Runner or like Deus Ex. And like Leslie has like this sniper rifle, and I was thinking about adding a sniper rifle mechanic. And so, like, I just have to play around with that and see how that works. Yeah, a lot of work goes into it.
Yeah, really. Especially with yours, though, because yours is also this future thing. Like, Leslie has a prosthetic arm. There's a balance of like, adding new things to classes and stuff like that, and technology blending with the fact that we're also playing, in your game, D&D 5 for the first time for almost everyone except you. None of us have played D&D 5th edition before. Even for me, I've been playing D&D for 10 years now, and this is the first game where I've ever played 5e.
You know, 5 is like, I wouldn't say simple. Like, I feel like it's a lot more simplified than 3.5. 3.5 has a lot more moving parts. Like, I could see the transition from 3 to 5 being a lot easier for people, but like if you went from 5 to 3.5, I feel like it would be a little bit overwhelming, just a little bit.
5 still has a lot of the same stuff that 3 has, but it's a lot of the bulk has been stripped away.
Yeah, like a lot of the skills are like consolidated, right? Like like spot or listen or whatever, like that's perception now.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the other skills, right? Like they're very straightforward. Instead of picking a large list of feats, the feats have been consolidated a lot. So like they do many different things.
You don't even get a feat to start anymore, right?
No, you don't. You get them. I forget. I think you get them like every other, like when you can increase your stats, right? Like your like your strength, charisma, your attributes. You can either do that by 2, or you can get a feat, which sometimes, depending on your class, is pretty good. Because I know Alan in my other game, right? I was thinking of getting more intelligence, but I was like, wait, I could totally pick this other feat that not only gives me, I think it gave me +1 intelligence, but it also gave me like the ability to know wherever north is. I had like anything that was within like a game's month, right? Like a game's like time of a period of like a month or 2 months, my character would remember it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like, which is super useful. And actually, I've used it a couple of times already since I've gotten it, and it's been very useful. Like, and it's good like stuff for story, and it kind of like the like 5e kind of takes a lot of the characters like class traits, and they try to make them very unique. You know, kind of like the key elements, right? For Freeman's character, the monk character, like even your character, like the warlock, like you got like the pact weapon.
Yeah, boy, can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait till you get that too. That's fun.
My ghost pistol.
Yeah, so like if any of you like are familiar with 5e, the warlocks, they get this pact weapon, or like they can summon just weapons, right? Like from their ether or like their magic. And so they also have Eldritch Blast, which is like this cantrip, this attack that they use. I told Tim
it's busted
for flavor. Yeah, you could like your pact weapon, you could take it out and use Eldritch Blast with that gun. Like you can summon a pistol and then use Eldritch Blast from that pistol. And I'm like, yeah, that's sick.
It's fucking metal.
Stuff like that, yeah. Cool. Like Leslie has a cool metal arm that'll probably be a lot better at some point, more than likely.
Woo.
Yeah, I think everybody does some like really cool stuff.
I mean, that's the other thing about 5e. It seems like every class has a lot more cool things going on.
Yeah, dude.
Like, part of it's my problem. Part of it's me the way I've run Fable. I honestly, if Leslie doesn't want to continue her game at some point, and we can get everybody together for another game, I could run a game alongside Tyler's game. Because I'm thinking about what kind of game I would want to do a lot more. Well, not a lot more. Yeah. Another idea for a type of game. And I think it'd be a lot of fun to do something totally different. Because I tried to... The game that failed last year was based on Jim Butcher, talked about Dresden Files. I read a series of his that Tyler didn't read yet, which he really should. The Codex Alera books. Which was basically the Roman Empire plus Pokemon. Is the way. Apparently, that's how it started. Jim Butcher was challenged in a writing challenge to write a story that combined Pokemon and the Roman Empire. And I threw my players into it, except for Val. It was a totally different group of people who we don't really talk to a lot anymore since we moved. And it was cool, but there's also a problem with DMing that I think will actually end on this topic. Player count and player quality. As the player, you have downtime while the DM is with someone else. But as the DM, you can feel the whole game take a hit when there's too many players or there's a player being crappy. There's no other way to put it.
Toxic players.
You guys can probably guess who I'm talking about from that other game. Or what pair of people, I guess I should say, because they both did it in different ways. But some people are just very passive players. They don't get involved very often. Like I think your guys' squad for the Fable game, at least, you guys have a great balance of, with 4 players, everyone is active at the same time. There's rarely a chance for someone to, or 5 players. I don't know why I said 4.
5.
Like 5 is a perfect, 5 or 4 is this perfect number where everyone has a job and everyone's invested and involved. And I feel like as soon as you hit 6 players and go higher, you have too many people. Things just...
It can be hard.
Combat takes too long. People don't get to do anything for a while. If someone goes off on a side quest, it derails the whole group. It's... Player count is very important. I think with 2 to 3 players is like a little too small because you don't have a lot of roles. And it's just kind of like, there's no real dynamics there. I mean, we're playing 3 people in Leslie's game, but that we kind of have a 4th character in that Leslie has the princess coming along with us, obviously, because we're protecting her. So that kind of gives us a central point to all work around. And thankfully Leslie hasn't had to, but if she needed to, she could use the princess to move the story in a certain direction. But with 4 or 5 players, that's when you start getting a group dynamic, people with different alignments, people with radically different classes and views. Like Freeman's a paladin in my Fable game. Tyler and Luigi were both evil, and Luigi is now no longer evil, but Tyler's still evil.
Yeah.
And there's always this dichotomy between the two of them, which is so funny because the two of them have their twin blade thing going on, and have this like buddy thing that no one else has going. But Freeman's a paladin, and Tyler's neutral evil, I think.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get to 6 people, which is what that other game was, the DM gets distracted too much, and it's not even the DM's fault, but that's just too many people, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Leslie, how do you feel about running a game with 3 people? Like, how do you feel like that player count is? Is it, like, comfortable for you, or?
Let me just add on to that before you answer, Leslie. Having seen how it also goes with me and Tyler when we run a 5-person game, how do you think it feels running a 3-person game versus a 5-person game?
I think personally, I prefer the smaller player number, only because it gives me more of an opportunity to try and focus on each character individually, but also the group as a whole. I feel like sometimes in both Tyler and your game, Tim, especially during combat, we have a lot of downtime just because there's so many people to get through. And I'm not saying it's boring, but when you're just sitting there waiting for someone's turn to roll around again.
No, it is, and that's not wrong to say. I mean, I've been in the 6 and 7 player game, and then when you get to higher levels, it's like, oh, I have 3 combat actions.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, let's talk for 20 minutes until someone else gets to take a turn.
Exactly.
Or Leslie's case, be on Pinterest.
Yeah. I am always on Pinterest during our breaks. Hey, I gotta get my Sebastian Stan fixed somehow.
Oh man.
Yeah, she dropped it.
It did. But no, I think I prefer the smaller group only because it makes certain players who maybe aren't as proactive.
Damn. Mic drop.
It forces them to interact more with the game and with the other players they're with. So I do like that, and also in my game, I try to give everyone something kind of special to do. So I feel like it's a lot easier when you have fewer players to give them that individualized attention and that moment to kind of shine in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bastion does cool ranger stuff.
Yeah, like I try and give Bastion cool ranger stuff. Tim, I've been trying to give you cool mage shit to do.
See, Leslie fucked up though when she gave me Eagle Vision. Now I want it. She fucked up.
But now you know the power exists. Maybe you can find the true eagle vision.
That's what I'm saying. Which is great. Like, that's what I like about, like, Leslie's game, whether she realized it or not. And I've mentioned it before, Leslie, but I was like, man, I really like how, like, you introduce things. And I'm like, man, I want this now. Like, I want to do this. Like, I want to go get Eagle Vision. Or, I thought that forest, also, I thought the forest was, like, one of the coolest things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a trial without it being a trial, right? Like, officially presented as a trial. It's like, okay, we got to go through this forest, but this forest has a lot of different crap. And then we saw the nymphs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it nymphs? Yeah, and then it's just like when it was, instead of combat, it was us trying to not succumb to the charm of the nymphs. And I was like, man, this is actually pretty cool. And then like we finally get to like where we were, and it was more like a trial than anything. And stuff like that, that's pretty cool. And that's why we need to play it more.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah, see, me and Tim have now proclaimed on the record that we want to play your game.
Well,
now we have to play Leslie's game.
We fucking tell her that all the time. A bunch of people on YouTube aren't gonna make a difference.
I just want to make sure you guys have fun.
Oh my god.
We do.
You know how we have more fun by playing more often.
I mean,
Tyler, we were so close to. I was so close to getting her to run her game again yesterday.
Oh shit.
And then I let her go. I was like, no, fine, I won't force you.
We were watching Cowboy Bebop yesterday.
Oh god, fucking damn it.
But Cowboy Bebop.
Anyway, we've been going for almost an hour with this. We'll probably just call it. I'm sure we're gonna do at least one more D&D episode. It happens all the frickin' time. Oh,
actually, we haven't talked about D&D that much on the show.
I know, but we always kind of tangentially mention it because we're all in the D&D groups together.
True.
So it'd be nice to. I mean, I'm sure we'll have like story time D&D. Maybe Luigi will come on for that one because he has stories of Ed's group just like I do that he remembers better, and I have lots of stories. One quick one. I think I've mentioned it before. Ed, in his eternal desire to give everyone everything they wanted, gave a guy a Pegasus.
Wow.
And something happened in a cave, and he like pissed off the Pegasus or something, and the Pegasus started. He like rolled to handle animal and rolled poorly, so Ed said the Pegasus starts flying away from you kind of dejectedly, and the guy just shouts out, "No, Ed, but the Pegasus loves me. I would never do that." And it's just like, get the fuck out of here. You rolled terribly and you just met this Pegasus. But that was just the funniest thing of this guy who's like super stoic all the time. Just goes from stoic to, "No, the Pegasus loves me."
Is that what's going to happen if Idris runs away from you, Leslie?
Idris would never do that.
Tim, the bear loves me. He'd never leave me.
He would never
does
leave
love
me.
me.
So, as part of our closing, Tyler, I'm going to throw this in now, even though we'll probably talk about it again next week if I remember.
Okay.
But Kid Creator left a comment. Question for Freeman and Tyler. A couple of my friends are into Persona and Final Fantasy, and I want to get into where should I start. I tried playing Final Fantasy 13 as my intro, but I never had the heart to finish it, but I've been told 15 is really good and should give it a shot. Also, are there any other JRPGs you can recommend me? I've never actually played any unless you count Pokemon, and I'm looking for some insight.
Okay.
We'll definitely go deeper on this next week with Friedman.
Yeah.
But just as a temporary thing, what would you recommend, and what do you for Final Fantasy, Persona, and JRPGs in general?
I mean, this is my personal start. Like, I think Final Fantasy X is one of the best places. Only because like it's kind of a linear game, and at the same time, but like it alludes to more like freedom, kind of like how we talked about it that one time.
Yep. And
also that it's more of a turn-based game. You're not pressured by all of the time-based stuff.
Yeah.
Right. In which a lot of the other Final Fantasy games use, they use a time-based system. Actually, a lot of the Square games, they use even the Chrono Trigger, which I think is one of the best JRPGs of all time for the SNES.
Would you recommend like a virtual copy of Chrono Trigger?
Oh, I do. wholeheartedly. Like if anyone likes like the Akira Toriyama like Dragon Ball Z kind of art style, and you like Final Fantasy, right? I highly recommend that game. It also has a pretty solid story with it too.
I mean, that's probably not news to most people, but I figured just as a recommendation.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the bangers for a reason.
If you want to wade an easier way into Final Fantasy with a Western game that's mostly JRPG, try Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, because that game is basically Final Fantasy ripped out its system, put into a Lord of the Rings setting that is not canon.
Yeah.
Or watch the Let's Play.
Or watch your Let's Play. Yeah. As far as that goes, like I would personally wait. Like Freeman might say differently about Persona, but I would give, if you're just getting into JRPGs, Persona's, coming from a person who's played a lot of JRPGs and a lot of just games in general, Persona's a hard game.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn, like you have to do a lot of resources and it's a lot of grinding. But like if you get past that, it's a very good game. It's got a very deep story, and like I've mentioned while we were going through PS2 exclusive games, like it not only just focuses on the combat, but it focuses on friendships and kind of the meta game around that to make your character better, and that's how you get through the story, is by building friendships and everything like that. And that's about it. I think Final Fantasy 15 is good. Like, this is my last thing. Final Fantasy 15 is good. There are some things I wish that were better, but I still recommend it. But I would recommend playing the other ones first. Yeah.
All right. And with that, I guess we'll just do closing. For me, I just today basically finished my hell week, my hell time at work. We submitted our stuff today, and I have a lot of work to do for next month, but we're at least not doing a month of work in a week and a half, so no more 45, 50-hour weeks for me.
Yay.
At least for now, right?
Yeah, no, but things are on track at least right now, until something else goes catastrophically wrong, which I'm sure it will. But as of right now, no more getting up at 5:45 in the morning and staying till 6 o'clock.
Yeah, good lord.
Yeah, that was rough for those days, but normal hours feel amazing now.
Right.
Leaving at 4:30 today only because we had a team meeting, and then probably leaving at 4 o'clock tomorrow is going to feel so good. But other than that, I'm trying to record more. Now that I'm done with the craziness, I got to record more. I've got a few special LPs I want to play on the side, but I've had so little time. But I'm going to try to get back into the swing of recording now, since I'm back from vacation and this crazy work. Cause it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since I can do serious recording. No movies or anything coming out, no games really or anything. So Tyler, your week?
Well, Tim, you're gonna be mad at me.
Oh boy, am I?
Yeah,
I don't even know why.
I bought a Switch.
I mean, I'm not mad. I can understand. I mean, it seems
disappointed?
like a bunch of money to spend for just fucking Zelda.
Hold on now. No,
You're
I got
getting-
other
nope,
shit I
wait.
want to play.
Let me guess. Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
Fucking 2 games. 2 games. No, okay.
2 games so far. Yeah, so far. And then we got a bunch of other stuff that got announced. But yeah, so I'm getting it tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna be playing that, and then I don't know. Leslie, did you want to go try to see Dark Tower this weekend or next week? We could probably wait.
TBD.
What?
TBD.
Yeah, 2BD. Yeah, like, because I don't know what's going on this weekend. Also, like, I kind of like waiting another week, but I want to see Dark Tower, though. Outside that, I got nothing else. Also, just prepping for whenever we start my game, but that's always a thing. That's always going on.
I mean, technically, you guys should have finished the Necropolis last week until things took a... Speaking of D&D stories...
Oh, God.
It's all Leslie's fault.
Leslie, why don't you tell everybody how last week went?
Hey, man.
Or
yeah, because she knows it was her fault.
when did we play? Sunday?
I didn't roll poorly. Well, okay, I rolled poorly once.
So,
All right.
For those
Whatever.
No,
So,
I'll tell. Do you want to tell it, or do you want me to? Because I can.
you just fucking tell it.
Okay, I'll save you from it. So, for anyone who's played Fable: The Lost Anniversary, currently the team is in the Necropolis looking for the rune stones to activate the Oracle of Snowspire Village, so that they can find out how to open the Apocalypse Gate. If that means nothing to you, all you should know is they're in a graveyard in the icy north. They found 2 of the 4 runestones they're supposed to be looking for, and there are 6 magical sites that Leslie is tracking. Obviously, 6 and 4 are not the same numbers, so who knows what's at these other sites or if they're what's going on. So, at the end of the last shortened session, because Luigi is a WoW raider all the time, he had to leave. So we picked up again, and Leslie's like, okay, well, I'm going to roll concentration to use the tracking spell Tim let me cast to find out where we're supposed to go for the 3rd magical spot, like center of magic. Hotspot, that's the word I'm looking for, in the graveyard. Leslie rolled a 1.
Whoops.
So I then said, okay, you go this way. You're activate your tracking spell, and man, you're sure there's the next magical hotspot is this way. What ended up happening was Leslie led them not to any magical hotspot. Yeah, I don't know if I told you guys, this is not one of the hotspots.
Shocking.
Yeah, I figured that was the case.
They went. There are zombies constantly coming out of the ground in this graveyard, and they found a spot where it was just piles of dead bodies, but not zombies. So they start digging through this pile of bodies because Luigi is a bard and can cast detect magic. He does. He sees a little source of magic similar to what the runestones have looked like in the pile of bodies. He starts digging in, and then all of a sudden the pile of bodies comes alive. Like, this whole pile of bodies is basically I called it a grave titan, but it's basically a zombie elemental, if you want to call it that. And it attacks them. And they only get through about 2 rounds of combat because had limited time. Luigi was on shitty internet. But some bad stuff happened. This monster did not fight just by attacking. It attacked them with disease and sickness. And so, everyone had to roll fortitude checks, and Luigi rolled fairly poorly. He rolled he rolled a few 1s.
A few.
Quite a few.
So, after being buried under some bodies and everyone losing sight of him, Val finally, being the cleric who's kind of being... she's called Paladin in Universe, which the title I gave her, even though Freeman's actually a Paladin, which was the joke. She finally digs Luigi out of this pile of bodies while this elemental face is hovering over them made out of bodies. And she finds Luigi puking, bleeding, no control over his bodily functions, barely, like, almost comatosely sick. And in Fable, everyone has a medallion which can teleport them back to the Heroes Guild or to any of the places in the world that has this Cullis Gate. So after trying to stabilize Luigi in the field during this fight and failing... Val says, fuck it, makes him grab his medallion. Also, Luigi's blind. Val says, grab your medallion and go home, and Luigi teleports out. Everyone says, fuck it, we can't continue. Leslie clearly lost her spell. Luigi needs to find the magical sites in the first place again, because basically they went on a mountain overlooking. Luigi cast Detect Magic, and then told Leslie... it was so bright he couldn't actually see anything other than where the magic was, and so he told Leslie, who saved it in her mind with a spell, and so they need Luigi to reset that. So they all decide, fuck it, we're leaving. Teleport back to the Heroes Guild. Luigi's not there. Turns out, when Luigi heard go home, he teleported back to Knothole Glade, because that is where the team owns a house. The team split up from the Heroes Guild, and Leslie found Luigi passed out on the side of the Cullis Gate, bleeding profusely, very sick, and barely alive. He had taken almost no damage, but his constitution was at about a 2. So, basically near death. Leslie rushed him to the healer's hut, and they began to treat him to the best of their abilities. And the story ends with the rest of the party showing up, and being told by the doctor, we can't identify all of his illnesses, but some of his symptoms point to basically this blindness fever, which Freeman attempted, being a paladin, has the cure disease ability, or spell. Cast it, didn't roll very well, and merely halted the progress of the disease. that disease and stopped anything else in his body from rampaging through the affected area, which basically affects the eyes, and that is the one thing that made him blind. So his vision might come back, and so the night ended with Luigi still in the healer's hut, Val going to the Temple of Avo to pray because it's nearby, and the rest of the party going to the house to pass out and sleep fitfully while they wait for news in the morning. So the session that was supposed to finish the necropolis ended with no progress and not even a kill on the Grave Titan, and Luigi almost dying of multiple unidentified ailments.
Yeah.
So that's how you play D&D.
Yeah.
Don't roll ones, kids.
Before we
Yeah,
call it a
don't
night,
roll ones.
Leslie, we usually end, as if you couldn't tell, by what we're doing this upcoming week, like video games or anything fun going on. So, like, if Tyler had been on last week, he would have talked about the convention you guys went to, the cosplay thing. So, do you have anything fun going on this week?
Just working at the horse camp.
Other than seeing Dark Tower potentially.
Other than seeing Dark Tower, I'm working at a Girl Scout camp teaching girls how to ride horses, so I get to play with horses all morning.
Yeah.
So that's really all I'm doing with my life is working and being poor.
Well, also D&D.
Also D&D tomorrow.
Yeah.
Assuming Freeman's allowed out of work before 10 p.m. at night.
Oh, and Leslie, what are you getting tomorrow?
Getting my
Potentially.
bird cage!
Oh my god. All right, this has been, we're going to stop because, wow, we've been going for a while. So, thank you all very much for listening to this edition of the TNT podcast. Considering I'm the one who records this, if there's no podcast next week, that means I found a reason to not show up, like Tyler and Freeman. Or we'll have a normal podcast where Freeman's finally not in emergency production mode at work and Tyler isn't dying of illness?
What? No, I wasn't dying of illness last week.
What was it?
His sister's
That was my-
birthday.
Oh,
My
right, the
sister's
birthday. Because
birthday.
we made fun of how Luigi has 1 billion birthdays, right?
Yeah, see, Leslie knows she's my real friend.
Heh.
So now this is the
Since
TN podcast. There's no TY at the
TN.
end anymore. We're going to
Yep.
abbreviate the name permanently.
Yep, gone, dunzo.
Maybe it'll be
Ripperoni.
the Tianel podcast for Leslie and Luigi being our guests every week.
Anal.
TINL.
Oh,
okay.
no. Oh, no.
All right, we're done. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.
Don't come back next week. The podcast
On
is
the
on fire.
channel.
Oh my fucking god.